Good morning. Happy Monday. Welcome to Breakfast with Bridgett. I'm your host, Bridgett Ellison, and it is January 29th. We are almost done with January. Can you believe it? I hope you're keeping warm this morning. Meteorologist Candace Campos has our pinpoint accurate forecast, and we definitely, at least a light sweater or jacket this morning, Candace.
Oh, I would say so. I mean, the temperatures are going to feel colder than what the forecast shows because it might be low 60s, but when we have that strong breeze in place, it's going to feel more like the upper 50s. So we'll shave off a couple temperatures, at least what it feels like to the skin. But yeah, I mean, and after such a warm week we had last week and the warm weekend, albeit it was beautiful, can't complain about
Yeah,
it.
it was
It's certainly
nice.
going to the system, right? Right, Bridget?
Right. Yeah. Yeah. And over the weekend, I mean, it was just perfect for pretty much anything you wanted to do outside. And, now starting off the week with this chill, it just reminds us that we're just not quite to spring yet, like you said. It's just like that
Yeah,
was a little sample that we had.
it was a little sneak peek of what
Right.
spring has to offer, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So when we
All
get
right,
ready
let's
for
take it.
today, yeah.
Yeah, so let's take it to the maps and we show you kind of what's going on across Central Florida. You can see there's that big old cold front that is moving through, now pushing out over the Florida Straits and into the Bahamas. Really, it's just a nice day. No clouds, no rain to worry about. Now, temperatures, though, right now out the door, it is chilly. We have knocked down quite a bit. Now, this is not actual temperatures. You can see there on the top of your screen, it says that's the wind chill. So that's when you factor in temperatures as well as the wind. Right now, it feels like 42 in Leesburg, feels like 43 in New Smyrna Beach, feels like 42 there in Kissimmee. Now, forecast lows later on tonight. It's going to be a little chillier than this morning, but we don't have the feels like temperatures.
Mm.
So there's kind of one of the other. But look at those temperatures. We'll be down into the 30s in Ocala, down to about 46 in New Smyrna Beach, and about Kissimmee, Orlando, even you guys in Melbourne will also be into those 40s. So it's going to be a colder day. So I want to show you Daytona Beach right now. The sun is out there, but you can see it's right behind the cloud cover. That cloud cover that you see, that's actually the cold front. That's kind of blocking the sun just a little bit from that sunrise. But temperatures, if you don't factor in the winds, right now they're still in the upper 40s. So it's a chilly day, really, no matter where you are in Central Florida. Again, but when you factor in the winds, it is a little bit colder. So as we take you here throughout the next few hours, temperatures will be back into the low 60s. About 62 will be your high by about 2, 3 o'clock. But with that breeze in place, it is going to be feeling much colder than what it actually looks like on the thermometer. And as you get results here, the full 7-day forecast, we are back into the 70s Wednesday. That's all thanks to a cold front that will be coming through. Will cool us down, kind of reinforce that cooler air in the forecast Thursday and Friday. And still right now, long-range models are showing the chance of a little bit more rain back into the forecast as we head into
Mm-hmm.
Saturday and Sunday. That's going to be tweaked a little bit as we get a little closer in. But at least from now until the end of the week, overall, we are looking nice and dry, tons of sunshine, but still a bit on the cooler side, Bridget.
Yeah, and I would be remiss without noticing your little nasal this morning, which
Oh,
you're blaming on the pollen. You were outdoors quite a bit over the weekend.
I was out all weekend long and I could feel it. And I was like, I'm starting to get stuffed up. Don't tell me I'm getting sick again. But no, it's just the allergy medication. I just haven't taken it yet.
And the pollen counts are really high. I mean, it's for certain categories.
Oh, yeah. Let me actually pull that up for you. Hold on. Give me 1 second. I can show it to you because that's what makes this Breakfast with Bridget interactive, right? Oh, there it
I know
is.
Trooper Steve was saying he didn't know what juniper was until we started doing
Yeah, juniper, elm, and alder. Those are the three big pollen producers. But
Yeah.
yeah, you can see it's high. Compared to the rest of the rest of the country has like the light yellows and the light oranges, and then right into Central Florida, it's a big bullseye of bright red. So,
Just
yeah,
look at our
we
cars. It's
warmed
pretty
up.
easy to see it. Mm-hmm.
Ex- exactly, we warmed up just enough to start sneaking in some of the blooming of some of our plants and stuff like that. We
Mm-hmm.
tend to have a pretty early spring start, obviously, compared to the rest of the country because we don't
Mm-hmm.
freeze and we don't cool down as much. But yeah, thank you for reminding me. I do actually have to take my allergy
Yes.
medication. I didn't do it yet because I haven't
Yes.
had breakfast. So, but
Don't
breakfast with
suffer.
Bridget. Now I'm
That's
gonna have my
right.
breakfast.
Yes, you have to eat a little something with that medicine. All righty. Well, I hope things open up there when I see you a little later.
Then have a little bit of tea. Try to
Right.
open up the sinuses.
Yes, yes, yes. There's different like pressure points you can do too, I think that can help. So, but
If you have any questions about sinuses, Bridget's the one to answer because she is like you're like rain. Yeah, you just know how to deal with sinuses, and you also are really good at feeling when the pollen is coming up because
oh
you're the first
yeah.
person
Oh, and
to
even
tell
if I
me
go
I
into
think
a
the pollen's
store,
up.
even if I go into a store, Candace, I can tell if there's like a dust or a mold problem or something like that because I'll just get that little tingle. I
You
don't
just
know if
know it.
you
You're
have
very
you ever
sensitive
felt
to
that
that
when you
stuff.
go into a store, like sort of like this,
I
like an
guess not.
itchy.
See,
Yeah.
I know that I'm having allergies when I can't talk.
Hmm.
See, that's the problem.
But see, it's all
Where
about
you can sense
maintenance.
it, I know.
You can't
We
once you
talked about
start
this
to
on
once you
yours.
really start to feel irritated, it's too late.
It's too late.
Hmm.
I know. You're
Yes.
right.
Maintenance.
So when you start getting the tickle, just let me know to start my medication.
I'll be the barometer. Okay.
All right, there you go.
Thank you, Candace. Hope you
You're
feel
welcome.
better. All righty,
Thanks.
let's head on out to the roads. And I think Trooper Steve is around. Oh yeah, he's. I saw you going behind me, so I was like, is he? I can't because it's reversed. When I see you walk through, I'm not sure which way you're headed. So,
Good
so you're
morning.
you're already out in results one. How's it going?
Getting ready to take off out of here within the next few minutes, see how the roads are doing, knock out a little easy. Well, it's kind of a random Ask Trooper Steve because I don't know of the issue. So people send me the questions, and then I guess we go see if there's an issue or not. So we're going to go
Okay.
look at some signage here in a little bit. Towards the downtown Orlando area in the express lane, someone talking about a no turn on red sign or
Mm-hmm.
no red or no right. I'm not sure. I've never seen the sign that they're talking about. So, hey, on a Monday, we're going to go look at it and check it out.
Those express lanes are still something to learn because I have gotten so frustrated with, wanting to be able to get on there, but there's only certain places where you can get on and you're just
So,
sitting
this
in
is what I'll
traffic.
tell you then. You're not going to like this then. You are not going to like what I'm going to say because someone else had the exact same thing. And they're like, hey, look, the express lanes, it's not working out for me in my commute and it's
Mhm.
not helping me out. And then I
Mhm.
told them, well, the express lanes are not for you then because they are seriously, and I don't mean to say, because if you can't figure out a certain way, then there is no way to create one. Like for
Mhm.
me, my where I live, it works
Mhm.
out for me. I use them. I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the afternoon, I'm there. But if I lived somewhere else, then I probably wouldn't be able to because of the location. So it does cancel some people out, especially certain times you're commuting. I could understand that you would want to use them, but for where your geographic location is,
But
it may not be ideal for you.
it's not just that. It's also when I'm headed into downtown, for instance, and like one time I
Uh-huh.
was I was headed to a wedding out at Lou Gardens, and I didn't realize that the exit for like a certain like stretch of exits is like really early, and so then I had to go
Yes.
all the way to Maitland and turn around
Oh, you got stuck. Yes. Yeah, I could see the frustration
because
because
it's
that
like the
is
east
a
and
big
west don't
detour.
match.
Correct. They are completely different. They do not enter and exit at the same
They're not
spots.
twins. Yeah.
And they are definitely not. And then our EP this morning, oh, he asked me a question and I said, don't ask that yet because they're not functioning. So
What,
I'll give
Wekiva
you a little tease
Parkway?
before we do. No, before
Oh.
we do the traffic, I'll tell you this. If you get on in the downtown area anywhere from Cayley, Michigan, or whatnot, and not Express, but I-4, there are these traffic signals that are not working that are next to the entrance ramps out there, and they say metered light. And this could be, they're not working.
Hmm.
This could be the future um, of a systematic light that is there on the ramp that controls on and off. So if you're coming up on the ramp, if it's red, you got to wait until a green light pops up and then you're allowed to flow out. That is
Oh.
not active yet. He asked me that question and I almost got scared. I was like, no, 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 no. They're not working yet. I don't know when they're going to put them up, but they're there.
Now, is that something to help with flow, or is that to help people merge more safely, or what would be the purpose?
Both. That's spot on. Actually, that's spot on, Bridget. It's actually for both. So if they limit the merge at a certain time, it's going to allow traffic to get onto I-4 when there's bigger gaps instead
Hmm.
of coming in when like maybe a flow is flowing through. That's what that will allow to do as long as we learn how to do it and then we obey the actual signage that's out there.
Well,
Always a headache. Always
I
a little bit
know.
of headache.
And we're going to talk about Wekiva Parkway in a couple of minutes, but are you hearing
Nice.
anything yet about,
I've
reception?
heard a few people that used it over the weekend. It's just a nice little extra ramp. You don't need to detour yourself anymore. If you're out there along 46 and maybe you're headed towards I-4, you don't need to pull off onto 46 anymore. The ramp brings you right to it. I've heard of no problems out there, but people need to remember just because Wekiva is open doesn't mean the I-4 construction's done. So there's a lot of stuff still happening. Crystal Moyer was laughing at me this morning when giving the traffic alert because I was letting people know, look, Wakiva's open, but I-4 is still expanding. So just
Yeah.
have some patience out there.
All right. Speaking of patience, a few hiccups this morning.
Yes, ma'am. Let's get right to it. DOT cam showing this is up just south of Palm Coast along I-95. It looks bad, but we're doing better than what we were doing a little while ago. So you do have another lane open. So now 2 lanes southbound 95 out there around the 287. Earlier car crash has those vehicles off to the side, but you can see about a 3 mile delay there just south of Palm Coast. So just be prepared for that. And then westbound I-4, DOT cam showing the sun is shining. It is beautiful outside, but traffic very slow in those westbound lanes. Mix this with the routine and then an earlier crash out there. This is what we're set to look like at least for the next hour or so. So if you're getting ready to hit the road, please prepare for that. Don't be the one to cause another crash. Kissimmee to downtown, 29 minutes, 22 if you're coming from Lake Mary, so not too bad. Some spotty crashes. Look, just because you see them on my screen doesn't mean I'm going to talk about them, but I am going to talk about this one there. Causing some issues westbound 408, just west of 436 Conway area. 408, it's always a gamble, Bridget. Always a gamble. You just never know what it's going to look like. So please be careful if you're coming in from Waterford or the Avalon area. Airport looking nice this morning with no issues there. Daytona Beach, nice and smooth. DeLeon Springs. My best friend lives out in DeLeon Springs, and there's nothing but beautiful houses and horses. I love it out there. It is so nice. As you make your way there, there's those delays in Lake Mary. Your drive times, though, across Central Florida, not horrible. It's those westbound lanes that we're just watching out this morning. And yeah, nice, cool, relaxed Monday. No crazy crashes, just things that we got to pay attention to as it is the beginning of the week.
It seems like that I-95 section right there is getting to be pretty frequent with issues, or is it just me?
No, it is
Where you
not
just
just
show?
you.
Okay.
I agree with you. So we are seeing an expansion on the north end of Volusia, south of Flagler. There tends to be a lot of construction out in that area. The problem is drivers coming in hot down towards Brevard, and the speed contributes to crashes. And then, of course, this is a big rural stretch of 95, so it does take first responders some time to get out there, especially if it's a mass response. No, you're
Mhm.
a good observation because I get nervous making those mentions to people because they're like, oh, well, this. But if you're seeing it, then hey, other people are seeing it. So you're right. People do need
Mhm.
to be a little bit more careful along 95. Some people compare it to driving like in Mad Max and stuff like that
Oh,
out
whoa.
there. The speeds, I would say the speeds on 95 are way worse than the speeds on I-4 that we see.
Mm. Because I
It's
have a
just a
saying,
different in
every day is
driving.
Daytona on I-4. So you're saying every day is Mad Max on
On
I-95.
I-95. Seriously, if you
That's
try
bad.
taking that down to Miami or coming back, you could be doing 10 over and someone's still going to blow the paint off your car. And then if they get pulled over, they're going to come, oh, what was I doing? You're doing 110 and a 70, ma'am, sir. Like, it's crazy. It's just
Yeah.
crazy. But no,
Wow.
you're right.
Okay. Okay. So what time does the stream start?
Eight. It's like you and I are both just like, it is what it is.
What are you going to do? Stay home?
Right, right. You got
Can't
to
stay
go out
home
and
every day.
survive this mess. So 8:30 normal stream today over at Click Orlando and the New 6 app.
All right. We'll see you then. Thanks, Trooper Steve.
Bye, ma'am.
Bye. All right. Well, we do have a bit of news to get to this morning. There were several stories out of Palm Bay over the weekend, but in particular, the biggest one, two Palm Bay officers are recovering right now. They were in a shootout with a man, and then we know that that suspected gunman was killed, and another person is dead, but we're still waiting for some more information on this. But this was off of Forgle Avenue Northeast, just west of I-95. It happened in a neighborhood. Mark Lehman explains why there are still many more unanswered questions.
Palm Bay investigators worked into the night gathering evidence after a shootout ended with 2 people killed and 2 officers injured.
2 of our officers were shot today as a result of doing their job, and that's to protect and serve our community.
Chief Mariano Aguelo says a call came in for a domestic disturbance around 2 in the afternoon. When officers responded to the home on Forgal Avenue, they say they encountered 24-year-old Brandon Kappas. The chief says Kappas refused to obey the officers' orders, which resulted in an exchange of gunfire.
And our officers did what they were trained to do, and that's neutralize and stop a threat to our community.
The chief says Kappas fatally wounded another person before he was engaged by law enforcement and was killed. The chief not saying anything more, leaving many questions about how everything unfolded.
We will not tolerate anybody raising their guns or any type of lethal force or aggression towards our police officers.
And so we'll keep you updated on what is happening with that story as we get some more questions answered from that investigation in Palm Bay and updating you on how the officers are doing as well. Like we mentioned, that traffic alert, Wekiva Parkway, fully opened. Got a big, a soft opening over the weekend. Today is the first big official test as they've finished this project now. All the ramps opened up over the weekend, and there's now a beltway all around Orlando for drivers wanting to avoid I-4 along 429 combined with the 417. And it's part of a vision to relieve some of the traffic and congestion between Seminole, Orange, and Lake counties while also helping protect natural resources in the Wekiva River Basin. So check that out if that might work for some of your trips and places you have to get to. We're taking a quick break. We'll be right back with some more news. Back out in Volusia County, Sheriff Mike Chitwood is vowing to clean up an eyesore at one of the beaches. His office launched a nationwide search for a man they say ditched his boat months ago, and it is dangerously close to dunes on Bethune Beach, and it's grounded now. Investigators say the owner is refusing to come back and get this boat. Molly Reed explains the problems it's causing and the trouble the owner is facing.
The sheriff's office says this boat has been beached like this for over 2 months now, and you can see just how close it is to the dunes and these houses. Residents here tell me they are relieved to hear the sheriff's office is finally holding this owner accountable.
Shifted the other day when we had a whole lot of wind and surf. It really did, it moved it.
You can see the mast from A1A. What is it like to look at this almost every day for 2 months on your beach?
It's very sad. I mean, I hate to see a boat like that, and now people are pilfering from it.
These Bethune Beach residents have been wondering where it came from and why it's on their beach.
It's an eyesore and it's dangerous.
The sheriff's office just tracking down the name of the owner this week. They say it's this man, 49-year-old Michael John Grimes, and there's now a warrant out for his arrest.
The very first time we've ever done anything like this, because normally you get some type of cooperation once we identify who has dumped their boat.
But no one has heard from him since the Coast Guard made contact with him in November. Now, Grimes told deputies on the phone during their last contact that he was attempting to sail in Ponce Inlet, which is several miles north of here, when the weather got pretty bad. He says that's when the boat beached.
After he washes ashore, he calls for an Uber, he communicates with the Coast Guard, he communicates with CETO and he leaves a message saying he needs to be pulled off the beach. They quote him a price of $15,000.
Sheriff Mike Chitwood says the next day Grimes checked out of his hotel and hasn't been seen since. He faces a felony for violating state litter law.
Grimes, who is an environmental terrorist, thinks it's okay to dump your on our beach and then tell the taxpayers of Volusia County, you figure it out.
They say his last known address is Concord, California, but there's a nationwide search for him now. In Bethune Beach, Volusia County, I'm Molly Reed getting results, News 6.
Well, It's tax season. We've been telling you about this. Today marks the official first day of the 24 tax filing season. So they're going to start accepting and processing 2023 federal income tax returns. And there are some changes this year. Some of the brackets have been adjusted for inflation, so you could see a larger refund. I've seen some reports saying some people are having to pay, and they're very surprised about that. So it just depends. But if you do qualify for a refund, the government says you'll receive it within 6 to 8 weeks, and the deadline for filing is April 15th, of course, unless you file an extension. Well, News 6 investigator Mike Holfeld is back with another scheme and ripoff. It's a story you'll only see on News 6, a wrong number text message and photos from a person claiming to be a beautiful woman used in an elaborate romance investment scheme. The victim did not want to be identified, but wanted to share this story in this latest installment of Schemes and Ripoffs.
This is the face used in a romance investment scheme.
Dear Henny.
Enhanced with a string of audio messages posted on WhatsApp.
After a while, she said that she wanted to live with me and we'd be together forever.
It all started with an accidental text, or so it seemed. The man who replied doesn't want to be identified.
She told me it was safe and I trusted her.
The woman called herself Lily. But News 6 found dozens of photos, same woman, different names, on various social media platforms. Lily claimed to be a New Jersey jewelry specialist with a can't-miss investment deal.
Well, if I invested $50,000, I could get $5,000 a day back.
Did you just say $5,000 a day?
Yes.
Was there any growth at all? Were you making any money at all?
No.
Records confirm he wired funds to banks in Vietnam and Hong Kong. Lily, or whoever it was, stopped contacting him.
And all of a sudden, my screen went blank. It was that quick.
He wants his story to serve as a warning not to be lured by the promise of money and love.
Trying to figure out what she saw in an older person like me. I guess it was money.
Mike Holfeld getting results, News 6.
Wow. Well, watch out for that. Definitely if you're getting, text messages from someone you don't know or your loved ones are. Want to recap a big festival over the weekend wrapping up today. The Zora Festival kicked off on Friday, and thousands gathered for the 35th annual festival in historic Eatonville. The 3-day outdoor festival honors and celebrates literary legend Zora Neale Hurston, who was from Eatonville and used Eatonville as the backdrop of many of her stories, and it was an inspiration to many. Organizers project the festival brings in about $2 million to the local economy. I got to take my kids out there on Friday afternoon, and they got to have a tour with a local historian, and we took a look at some of the murals that have been installed in the neighborhood. So it was a really nice time out there over the weekend. I want to draw your attention to something fun on clickorlando.com. If you're an insider, it's free to sign up to be an insider. Of course, there are always contests and exclusive content when you sign up to be an insider. But there is a fun feature now called Found in Florida. So if you think you have a good eye, you like a scavenger hunt type of game, we're putting your knowledge to the test. So become a News 6 insider, and you can answer our Found in Florida questions. For example, where can you find snow in the state? Or where do you think this is from right here? This is year-round snow. Where is this? It's free to become a News 6 insider. Head to clickorlando.com/insider. Well, that will do it for us with Breakfast with Bridgett. We want to welcome back our producer, Kathleen. She is back from a week in Jacksonville, and she's right over here. She was on camera last Wednesday with us, and so we're going to get a camera for her so we can have her join us some more on Breakfast with Bridgett. But we want to hear from you. What would you like to talk about? Who do you want to hear from? What would you like to see covered on this streaming show? So you can reach out to us at bwb@wkmg.com or send me a message on Facebook or Instagram. We would love to hear from you. Weather-wise with Jonathan Kegas is up next. Make it a great day.